A couple of days ago, I sat through Big Trouble in Little China for the very first time, from start to finish. And as the credits rolled, I wasn't exactly sure what to think of it. I was kind of speechless. But as the days have passed, as time has gone on, I decided that I absolutely love this movie. It took a while for me to digest and to like realize just what made it so appealing to me. You know, like this is the first time a film has done this for me in a while, actually. But now that I've like gone back to it or thought about it a bit more, I want to see this movie again. I want to see these characters. I want to hear them say their lines. I want to see them like go on their adventure. And that is the mark of a good film or any good entertainment property, that you want to return to it. You want to become invested again. You want to live this life again. And Jack Burton and his friends do a really, really great job of doing that. It's amazing, right? You know, how this film opens up, how it goes on, how it like evolves into what it is, and then how it concludes. Because it is like the most impeccably paced movie I've ever seen in my life. Because it's so good at like, you know, coming up with all these crazy situations, blending them together, making them entertaining, but and always changing things. Like enough things where it always feels fresh and new. It doesn't feel derivative and monotonous. Like stuff like you've already seen this before, right? Like it reminds me like a lot of action films, right? Like they sort of just do the same sort of things that other films have done, right? Like you have like explosions, you have like running away from them, you have like the general cliches and stuff like that. Big Trouble in Little China, I feel like has this sort of unique vibe to it. Like you have like, for one thing, you have this very strong focus on Asian culture filtered through this white guy protagonist, Jack Burton, who in and of itself, if this movie had nothing else other than Jack Burton, it would still be very much watchable because Jack Burton is the most quotable motherfucker I've ever heard in my life. Like for the past couple of days, I've just been like watching YouTube videos of like all of his best lines, right? Like, what will come out no more? You know what old Jack always says. It's just great, you know. Never stops being funny. He always comes up with like all these crazy lines. He like his relationship with the other characters is interesting and well fleshed out. You don't get an idea exactly of like Wang and just his, you know, you have the setup where they're like hanging out together. You don't know what their background together is. You don't know whether they like do stuff like together like this all the time or whatever. You don't know stuff like that, and then it doesn't really matter because it's sort of believable how drag is dragged into this like mystical Chinese bullshit adventure with all these monsters and magic and this crazy old fuck. And it just it's so good. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Like I've heard people declare this to be their like favorite movie of all time. I can see why. Like I don't think I agree, at least not yet. I'll need to like have several more rewatches before I decide on that. But yeah, this is one of the movies that inspired Mortal Kombat, which is one of the big reasons I specifically wanted to watch it. So yeah, finally getting around to watching it after all this time has just been an absolute treat for me. Absolute treat. I loved every minute of it. Like, you know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this? Watch this movie.